Hey friends, welcome to Just Call Me Viv. Grab a coffee, pull up a chair, and let's talk. Hey friends, welcome back to Just Call Me Viv. If this is your first time here, I'm Viv and this is my podcast. So there's always that one moment when you realize the person you're afraid to disappoint is actually yourself, just you. And suddenly the camera doesn't feel like a spotlight. It feels more like a conversation. And this conversation is really about how I got comfortable pressing record. As an introvert, this was a great feat for me to have to overcome. So today I want to talk about something that so many of us tiptoe around, which is the fear of actually being seen by others. Not in a glamorous way, just being seen honest, unfiltered, without the makeup, as we are, especially in midlife. And I'm sharing how I finally got comfortable behind the camera and why starting this video podcast it feels less like performance and more like being authentic to myself as someone who really loved theater as a teenager. And if you're dreaming of starting something of your own, a channel, a business, or a project, or a podcast, I hope this feels like a warm permission to actually do it. So a lot of women my age tell me, I want to start something. Maybe I want to be a speaker, but I'm scared. And I don't look like the typical creators on YouTube. And I don't have the equipment and I don't have the space. And I get it. There's a very specific kind of vulnerability that comes with starting new and starting from a different lens and asking for you to be just really truthful to yourself. But the part that nobody really talks about when starting something new is that you don't have to speak to the world. And that was my point of reference. You just have to speak to the one. And in my case, the one woman who looks a lot like you. The one for me who's tired, the one who wants to reinvent herself, who's stuck and wants to be unstuck, the one who needs someone to go to just listen. So it's the woman who's seeking growth in midlife. And I say a lot, but for me, everything shifted when I stopped sort of performing and started connecting. And when I say performing, is just trying to be what everyone else wanted me to be. And breaking through this invisible fifth wall of YouTube. So I imagine like one woman sitting across from me, across the lens, and we're having a chat, we're drinking tea, and we're just sitting here like friends. And that's how I show up. When I record, I'm talking to her, to that one person, or maybe it's him, whoever it is. And people assume that you need fancy lights, fancy equipment, cameras, and a massive set. But most of us don't have that. What we have is that little corner of our own world where we already feel like ourselves and feel really human. And for me, it's my kitchen. Welcome to my studio. This is where I make coffee at 5 o'clock in the morning. This is where I've had some of the hardest conversations and the sweetest ones. It's where I've been with people that I've loved. And there's a natural light that spills in through this window. And honestly, that's my perfect budget, $0. I don't need any lights. And I typically film between 6:30 and 7 now in the winter. And this is what I call my light moody vibe. Peter McKinnon, I love his videos. He has this gorgeous cinematic darkness to his work, and I'm fascinated by it. But my version is a little softer, a little midlife, a little Latina, a little 2005 Pride and Prejudice with Keira Knightley. So I actually use a black diffusion filter, nothing fancy. I put it on my camera, and everything I learned about filming, I learned from YouTube. My daughter teases me and she says that I'm a YouTube kid. And at this point, she's not wrong. I really love YouTube. I've been fascinated with YouTube for ages. And sometimes I think about how as humans, we've done this, the storytelling, we've gathered around in circles, courtyards, in our living rooms, sharing stories. And that's how we've carried wisdom in our grief and love and our entire history as humans. And YouTube is just the newest version of that. YouTube is, for me, a visual storyteller, is how we hand off information, a digital campfire where we all sit around. And trust me, I confuse the algorithm daily. I go from personal finance to filmmaking to baking to sewing to makeup tutorials to small business information, creator content, and yes, even gaming. I've done it all and I watch it all. And I like to keep YouTube on its toes. because I have a lot of interests and I love learning. Ultimately, I love learning and I like connecting through visual storytelling. So curiosity has never left me. Even if I stepped into adulthood, midlife, my therapy practice, my roles, the life that has shaped me. But this podcast, this space is where I bring it all together. It's the part of me that listens deeply, the part of me that advocates, the part of me that likes to be creative, and ultimately the part of me that loves to tell stories and share stories. So it feels like I'm circling back, right? The hero's journey. And getting comfortable on camera wasn't about confidence. It really was about letting other people see me and maybe the fear of criticism. And it was about ultimately accepting my voice with all its imperfections. It might be exactly what another woman needs to hear before she takes her own risk. And maybe that's true for you. Maybe fear isn't the stop sign, but maybe it's the doorway that you go through. And maybe you don't need a studio. Maybe it's a small corner in your bedroom, a little morning light, and the actual courage to begin or to press record. So if this episode made you feel a little braver, a little less alone, share it with someone who's been sitting on a dream for far too long. And if you haven't yet, please subscribe so we can keep on building this beautiful community in this small corner of the internet together. Thank you for being here. And until next time, please take care of yourself. Bye.